Hello and welcome to the IELTS-Banke channel. Here I help you achieve your desired band scores across all modules: IELTS listening, IELTS speaking, IELTS reading, IELTS writing. You will find valuable tips and information that will help you to ace the exam once and for all. So if you are new here, kindly hit the like button, share and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first to know once I upload valuable videos for your IELTS examination success. And without much ado, let's get into today's lesson, shall we? In an informal letter, you will be asked to write a letter to a recipient who is taken as known, imaginary recipient in this case. Using the FRSC code, you can check out the video on how to identify any task 1 letter with the FRSC code. This is a sample informal letter that has been reviewed, corrected and vetted and submitted by a student. You will follow the guide I will be providing using this letter to write yours and ensure you adhere to the guidelines provided in this video. Welcome to the IELTS-Banke YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, consider doing that. Turn on the notification bell and you will be the first to know once new helpful videos for your IELTS test preparations are uploaded. Now let's go on. If you are writing an informal letter, looking at this question, your best friend is getting married at the end of the month. Write a letter to her. In your letter, congratulate her on this latest developments. Tell her how you will be of help. Give details about how you will render assistance. You start your letter with an opening. This is the opening where we have Anita. Dear Anita, that's the opening. Did you get that? So you need to have that opening written with just the first name. The part where you complete the opening is that Dear Anita part, and make sure you put a comma. Don't write full names. Do not write Dear James Williams, for instance. That is not acceptable in an informal letter. If you do that, you are telling the examiner that you have identified this letter as you have not correctly identified the letter as an informal letter. So the opening of any letter is very important, and it tells the examiner whether you have correctly identified the type of letter you are writing or not. After the opening, the next thing is the introductory paragraph. So the introductory paragraph will be constructed using the information given in the background statement in the question. This is where you have your background statements. Your best friend is getting married at the end of the month. Right? That's your background statement, and that is what you will use to construct your introduction. You construct it in such a way that it will look cordial and it will tell that you have a relationship with this person. So here is the introductory part of the write-up. Your letters must have the introductory paragraph. So here is what the writer has written. Compliments of the season to you and your loved ones. How are you doing? Sure, by now, you've taken some time off work to focus effectively on your wedding plans and preparations. You would see that highlighted portion, those are my own words. The writer didn't put that there in the first draft. This is the draft. This is like the third draft. The writer only says compliments of the season to you and your loved ones. How are you doing? I'm sure by now you've taken some time off work, right? So that's my own correction. You have to make it seamlessly flow into the next paragraph, which addresses the first bullet point. And you can also use contractions in informal letters. These are examples of contractions, like how are you doing? Yeah, like you've taken some time off work. Yes, those are contractions, but the contractions are not acceptable in a formal letter and in semi-formal letter. You can only use contractions in informal letters. So you create your introduction from the background statement given in the question. Sometimes you may not even have background statements, but from the way the questions are posed in the bullet points, that can also help you to come up with a worthwhile introduction. After your introductory paragraph, you are going to be addressing each of the bullet points in separate paragraphs. The first bullet point says to congratulate your friend. Yes, congratulating her on this latest development. Yeah. So we are going to address that in a separate paragraph. And here's how we congratulate our friend. We say, hearty congratulations to you, my dear friend. You can also use exclamations, question marks in an informal letter. These are not acceptable in formal and semi-formal letters. So here we continue. Hearty congratulations to you, my dear friend. You cannot imagine how ecstatic I felt on receiving news about your wedding. I honestly cannot wait for that day to come by. Now let's check it against what the writer wrote initially. I would like to say huge congratulations to you, my dear friend. You cannot imagine how ecstatic I am hearing this fulfilling news about your wedding. I honestly cannot wait for that day to come by. So these sentences are just simple sentences, and the reason I had to make corrections here is because look at this part. I would like to say huge congratulations to you, my dear friend, and all that. I corrected it here to show that you can use a variety of sentence structures such that you will not be using just simple sentences. So here I have rewritten it to say, hearty congratulations to you, my dear friend. You cannot imagine how ecstatic I felt on receiving news about your wedding. And so here we should have, and I honestly cannot wait for that day to come by. This place. That's why I put this red mark here to say insert and I honestly cannot. So here you have let me clean this and write, and I honestly cannot wait for that day to come by. Full stop, just full stop. Okay? So that takes the sentence from 3 sentences and makes it into 2 sentences, because if you have watched the video on band descriptors, you will see that you need to be able to use a wide range of sentence structures. This will help you to increase your band scores in your write-up. That's one way of using a wide range of sentence structures, so that you are not just using simple sentences throughout your write-up. You can also watch that video on band descriptors and how the examiners will use the criteria in the band descriptors to grade your work. Now let's move on to the second bullet point. Yes, so this is the second bullet point here. The second bullet point says, tell her how you will be of help. Now, when you are writing, you want to address each bullet point in separate paragraphs. Do not collapse 2 bullet points into 1 paragraph. Okay? So this is the portion that addresses that second bullet point here. So here we say, planning for a wedding is a lot of work, so I will be in charge of decorating the venue of the wedding reception. So you see, the first part of your paragraphs addressing the bullet points should be a sentence that will directly answer that question. Recall that the question says, tell her how you will be of help. So how do you want to be of help? It will help for you to plan your work before you start writing. So you quickly think about the bullet points and what you want to write in response to them before you start writing. Don't start writing until you have quickly planned your responses. You quickly do a plan and you discard or eliminate the ideas that will not directly answer the question, so that you will not be stuck while answering the question. I hope you get that. So there are a lot of things you can do to assist a friend who is planning a wedding, right? So you can just say you will help her to take care of the bridal train. There are a lot of things you can do, but in the space of this response, you can just put 2 things you can do to assist. The first idea here is to help decorate the venue, and then I've also said that the writer should add another idea. So if you are attempting this question, if you are watching this video right now, you want to add another idea, and that is, then you explain it such that when the examiner is reading it, the examiner understands what you are saying. So you say, planning for a wedding is a lot of work, so I will be in charge of decorating the venue of the wedding reception. As a seasoned event planner, you can definitely count on me to help take care of that aspect. Then I've asked to add another idea, since for this way I say add another idea, so that it won't just be a 1 sentence, 2 sentence paragraph, right? You can still have 3 to 4 sentences in this particular paragraph. Now the last bullet point says, give details about how you will render assistance. So you want to give details. The details will be to explain further what you will do in decorating the venue of the wedding, right? And you've added another idea. Let's say you are decorating the venue and you have added your second idea in this second, in this bullet, in this place, in this place. This third paragraph, ordinarily you would say that why going ahead to give details again. You recall that in this particular second bullet point, you are just telling how you will assist. Your third bullet point is now where you go into the details. You can see the question says give details. These are contents words, content keywords that helps you to come up with how to write your response so that you are addressing all parts of the question and you are not overwriting in a particular bullet point and underwriting in the other bullet point. It has to be balanced. So you can see from what this person wrote, I have struck out everything because I cannot see how the person is telling me, giving me the details. You think about it, you are decorating the venue of the wedding reception. What goes into decorating a wedding reception venue? What goes into it? You know, there are a lot of details that goes into it. So you come up with two sentences to explain the details, to give the details. So this writer says, let me throw more light in the way your ceremony will be designed. We are not talking about designing. You are saying you want to decorate. So that choice of word is wrong. I intend using some of your favorite flowers, roses, lilies, and some daffodils. I also look at, there is no punctuation there. I also recall how much you adore butterflies, so I intend incorporating some of it, but you are not using live butterflies here. By the time I'm done, no one will be able to tell the difference between real or an illusion. So that last sentence, by the time I am done, no one will be, this particular sentence now is not relevant here. By the time I'm done, nobody will be able. It's just like being literal with what you're saying. So I have submitted here that this paragraph lacks proper sentence construction and punctuation. Future tenses should be used and sustained throughout the write-up instead of present tenses. Did you understand that? You cannot be using present tense for something that will be happening in the future. This is a plan for the wedding that is holding in the future. So you must be careful about your tenses, right? And then before you complete your task, you have to use a last line paragraph or a kind of something. You come up with these parts so that you don't just go straight to the closing. So here, all the highlighted portions, these ones in yellow, they are my own additions to the writer's submission. They are not the writer's words. So anything you see in yellow highlights are my words. So I say, as we count down to the D-Day, don't hesitate to let me know if you need me to run other errands for you. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care and extend my warmest regards to your family. Right? And then you have the closing. This is the closing here. This is the closing. So you always have a closing. In informal letters, the way you write your closing will tell the examiner, I'm saying closing, whether you have correctly identified the letter as formal, informal, or semi-formal. So here, You can't add a full stop after writing your name. It's just one name. You are not including surname, and you don't put a full stop. So that is a no. Do not add a full stop to your name. In all the letters, you can't add a full stop to it. Okay? So the points to note as I round up on this lesson, and why I am giving this letter a band 6.0, do not make the same mistakes I've pointed out in the course of this review as you write yours. Letter has good structure and paragraphing, but lacks coherence and cohesion in between paragraphs. You can see that in between the paragraphs, there is improper sentence construction, there are poor tenses, no punctuations. Those are the things I mean by improper, lacks coherence and cohesion in between paragraphs. The structure was followed from the opening to the introductory paragraph to the paragraphs addressing the bullet points to the last paragraph before the closing. That's the structure. And the paragraphing is clear. Now, number 2, the first bullet point paragraph should be further extended with extra details, right? Let's look at it again. The first bullet point, is that the first bullet point paragraph that is talking about hearty congratulations to you, my dear friend. I honestly cannot wait for the day to come by, right? It's just too small. Should have at least one more sentence. The second bullet point has only one idea in the paragraph. It should have at least two. Two is okay, right? The third bullet point paragraph is filled with poorly constructed sentences used in present and present continuous states and punctuation. There should be no full stop after the name in the closing of the letter. So these are the reasons the letter. This is what I mean by clear structure and paragraph, right? It's properly paragraphed, it's properly structured. However, there are some lapses in between the paragraphs. So I hope that with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that when you write, avoid all these mistakes. I want you to attend a question and an informal letter question and submit it to the WhatsApp class for me to be able to know whether you have been able to implement the lessons from this video. So this is IELTS-Banke Adewusi and your IELTS online class teacher. If you need VIP coaching, one-on-one private coaching, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll see you in the next lesson. Cheers.